Brittany.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Tuesday night, Competition Plus Power Hour live. Hello, folks. Lee Craft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer right here. Over there, Mr. Dujanay Bland, host of the Not Bland show. Just wrapped up with a show earlier before getting on here to talk some drag racing with our guests tonight, Royce Miller, Alexis DeJoria, and Joe Morrison as we look ahead to the NHRA National event at Maple Grove. Dujanay, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Busy, though. Busy with the NFL season and NHRA playoffs, IHRA. It's been busy, man. I have been nonstop. I've had to take time to just be like, you know what? I'm not doing nothing. Tomorrow is nothing. I'm not looking at anything. I'm not writing any articles. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just going to play college football.
I understand. I've got a weekend this weekend that is technically open right now, and there's a part of me that wants to fill it with content or going to a race or something of that nature. I'm healing a foot right now that plagued me all last weekend walking around at the IHRA event there in Columbus, and I may take a break. I may take a rare break because after this weekend, it is full blast for a while. And some big major events on my calendar, and maybe not on the NHRA calendar or the drag racing calendar as a whole, but nonetheless huge events for myself personally in the drag racing world. So there is a lot that we are all about to be able to partake in as drag racing fans, and it is good, whether that is the NHRA at Maple Grove, whether it is more IHRA drag racing, whether it is Nitro Harleys and Outlaw Pro Mods at Rocket City Dragway just down the road from me, whatever it might be, there is a ton going on.
Oh, yeah. Knoxville's coming up, baby. We got that coming up next week. And then in about a couple weeks after that, it's that cruising the coast, man, that double race. It's going to be busy for us, man. It's going to be fun, though. I'm looking forward to it.
It is. And, for the Southeast Gases Association, that double race weekend, it's never happened for the Southeast Gases Association. They've never had a race on Friday. Friday has always just been a test and tune type of scenario, and then they roll into qualifying and eliminations on Saturday. Well, lo and behold, Gulfport, with such a great turnout, actually the largest fan attendance in Southeast Gases Association history last year, and with records being established last year, which have been reestablished since. But nonetheless, that event was an event that Gulfport, the racecation destination there in Gulfport, Mississippi, they decided to double down. And we're going to have, for the first time ever in the Southeast Gases Association, 2 races on one weekend. That is going to be a blast, and it is certainly going to have huge implications into the championship chase and all of the championship categories of Sega, rolling in then to the last race there outside of Shelby, North Carolina at Shady Side Dragway. Speaking of dragways, the first individual that we'll be talking to tonight has one of the best drag strips and drag racing facilities in the entire world, and a major shift was announced for him, his team, and that facility.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be huge for the town, huge for the racetrack, kind of going back to its roots. You know what I mean? That race, that race was big for the IHRA there, and they're going back to their roots just on the other side of it to the NHRA, and I'm excited about it. This town has probably been like starving for what used to be, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing nitro cars back at MIR, back in my home county, in my home state, my home track. I'm super excited. I can't wait for next year.
I think the last time they might have had a nitro car would have been like James Guilford with the Svengali funny car at Funny Car Chaos when he was there a couple of years. I think that might have been the last Nitro there, but they're going to get a dose of it here very, very soon. Obviously, we were talking about Royce Miller, the man over Maryland International Raceway. We're going to be chatting with him in just a moment after this word from our presenting sponsor, Weldon High Performance. Pumps for aviation, pumps for high performance applications on the Strip. If you need a high performance pump, it's Weldon High Performance. Royce Miller live on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Mr. Miller, man, you've been making an impact in the world of drag racing for decades now, and a big impact made once again. Huge announcement for you and MIR.
Appreciate that, and we're definitely looking forward to it. It's been a long journey to get to this point in the facility, and really looking forward to it.
So my question is, how did all this come about? And has this been in the works for a while, or was it something that just kind of popped up here over the last couple of months?
I've been talking to NHRA for 2 or 3 years. We've been toying with the idea of bringing an event here. They called me here, a few months ago and said, hey, we're interested in doing something for 26. And we started our dialogue then, and here we are.
Royce, has Maryland International Raceway ever been an NHRA track in its history? I know long-time history with IHRA, recently WDRA. So has there been an NHRA history with it?
Yes, the track was NHRA the first 2 years I was here, the 90 and 91. Then in 92, Todd Mack and Larry Clayton, who were the two that I bought the track from, they become one of our 7 owners that bought IHRA in 92. So with that relationship I had with them, it made sense to be an IHRA track with them at the helm of IHRA. And they wanted to bring a national event. It started life as a pro mod only, 32 car pro mod only event. And then after Bill Bader came on board, we added Nitro. We did a bunch of improvements to the facility to get to that point.
That's pretty cool. I was thinking about this in the past of the IHRA being there, and I remember the big time events that they were when I was young. This is going to be huge for the state of Maryland, for Southern Maryland. What, as far as this facility goes, has been changed since you have bought the track?
Well, it kind of looked like a deserted airport when I first took over. If you come to the facility now, the only thing that's original, the aprons on the outside of the track, outside the walls, there's a 20-foot apron. The racetrack itself used to be 100-foot wide. The guardrails were, Armco guardrails was on the outside of the asphalt. So we moved the walls in to 60 foot and put concrete in. The outside aprons just become our chase roads. And our original, our maintenance building is the only structure that's still here that's back then. So everything else you look at, every asphalt has either been overlaid or added. Every structure, ticket gate, office, tower, concessions, restrooms, all of that has come about since I took over in 1990.
All right, Royce, bring everybody up to speed on yourself. I mean, I've heard the story like you've owned the track, then you sold it, and then for some reason you bought it back, and it's now under your ownership still. So, like, give me that like introduction to drag racing to becoming track owner, selling it, buying it again, and now.
Well, yeah. So I'd owned it for 25 years, and it's one of those deals where there's an offer you can't refuse, and that was with the IRG. Back then, and we sold the track in the end of 2014. But you still couldn't get rid of me. I was still here managing it along with four other tracks. There was 5 tracks at the time with IRG, including Palm Beach, Memphis, Cordova, and Tucson. So then they had it for 7 years. They decided to go a different way and called me about see if I wanted to buy it back. And my first immediate answer when they called was no, thank you. And then there was one of those offers that you couldn't refuse. So I ended up buying it back. Shows you level of intelligence I have, but I'm still a kind of a glutton for punishment, I guess.
What brought you back? Like, what brought you back to buying the track?
Well, the deal was definitely good, but I still cared about the facility. The back then, IRG was looking at other uses for the facility that weren't racing. And at that time, I'd been there for 30 plus years, 32, I think, at the time. And I still cared about the people, the history, the facility, and I wanted to make sure it stayed a racetrack. That was a big motivating factor.
Well, thank you for that. And so many times the places that seem to be successful, they've got someone that is looking at a facility beyond just dollars and cents, because if you look at it just that way, sometimes these things don't make a lot of sense. And you've got to have people who really want to do this and they love doing it. And over the years, what are some things of track ownership and management that you have absolutely loved? What are some of the events that stand out in your mind for Maryland International Raceway?
Oh, well, we have, over the years, we've had a lot of events that I enjoy, back in the day, of course, the President's Cup, the Pro Stock Open, and the Mountain Motor Nationals. But my sons were the creators of the World Cup import versus domestic event that we have, which is now our largest event, even though I lost a son a little over a year to almost 2 years ago now, I guess. And anyway, Jason is the cheerleader and the promoter of that event and doing extremely well with it, along with the XDA series, motorcycle series. So we have a lot of events, very varied schedule. We try not to do just one entity. We have all truck events, all Mopar, all Ford, all motorcycle, import, domestic. So trying to go to a different well of people to keep everybody entertained and enjoying their time here at MIR. So over the years, I can't really necessarily pick out a specific one, but having people enjoy coming to the racetrack, giving them a safe, clean, and inviting facility with nice restrooms. We definitely made an investment in that area. So that it's a good experience. That's the main thing, is giving the racer and or fan a good experience for their dollar.
Now, outside of the racing, have you guys ventured out into doing other things? I know a lot of promoters talk about, thinking outside of just racing when it comes down to having events at the racetrack. Is that something you guys have done also?
As far as other businesses, or what do you mean? I'm sorry.
Some people hold concerts there and things of that nature.
Yes, we've done music. We've done, Spartan, the athletic competitions. We have events that are sound competitions, the stereos and car shows, drifting. We do a lot of different things, and we're looking for other avenues, non-racing avenues to. I mean, we're as big and have more amenities than most fairgrounds do. So we're working with the county in parks and recs and economic development and tourism, putting the network out there to look for other things that can be brought to Southern Maryland and at this facility.
Big events still remaining for this year. As you mentioned, World Cup will be coming up in the autumn. Hot Rod Drag Week is going to be rolling through to Maryland International Raceway. Has it been there before? And how do you think it's going to be perceived with the drag and drive crowd coming in?
That is probably one of the most unique events, and it's really cool. I have been a part of it before, but through the week as a one stop. This year we're the host track, so they start with us and end with us, and it's really a very cool premise, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that. And it's early days here, but that starts on this Sunday.
Well, hopefully the weather will be good for you guys, and that way you guys can have a good event, because rain has really marred a lot of drag racing this season.
Yeah, then the rain or the real heat, either one's a detriment for us.
It certainly can be. Now, let me take some voices of those that, well, they just don't know what they're talking about, because I've been to your facility 2 times with Chaos, beautiful facility, and you all are accustomed to hosting big events, but you have people throw in comments, and I'm going to throw them to you, and you give me the rebuttal as you knowing what you all at MIR can certainly do. Oh, that track, it's too close to Baltimore, you might get shot, something like that. What's your response?
Well, if you come to Southern Maryland, it is a very, very rural area that we're in.
It is.
Outside the gates here is probably one of the largest Amish communities there is. The one thing you do have to watch out for when you come here are the buggies. When you come, you want to make sure you don't go fast and around the curves, because there's liable to be several buggies on the road when you come. With the Chesapeake Bay and the Potomac River close to us, there's a lot of water and fishing, great seafood restaurants. So there's a lot here, but you have to understand that Southern Maryland is a very rural area, and we do lock the doors sometimes, but it's not too much else we got to worry about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, another one that you hear out there, and I'll let you roll this into like what you've got to do to be prepared for having an NHRA national event in the future. People will look, oh, there's not enough grandstands. That facility can't handle a national event. Where are people going to park? So they say things like that. Your facility, but what do you have to do to be ready in 2026?
Well, first off, we know that as some of the facilities in NHRA's series are larger events and facilities than we have here. So we have a cap of attendance, and we're not going to exceed that cap to where we have, no place to sit or no place to seat. We're going to, along with NHRA, the decision is to come up with a series of classes and car count that we know we can accommodate, so that we don't oversell and don't create a bottleneck or something negative. So we'll start with what we can accommodate from racer standpoint and from spectator. The World Cup sells out, so we know how many people we can put in there, and we purposely stop the sales at that number so that we don't oversell. And I'm gonna tell you, it's still tight, don't get me wrong, and it's 4 or 5 deep at the fence, and you better get in early to get your seat. So so that's another reason to buy your tickets in advance, because they very well could sell out.
Well, you heard it here first, and I'm sure it's going to sell out. Get those tickets soon and get to the track soon. Kind of like this weekend at Maple Grove. Like, You do not want to try to get in there an hour ahead before Top Fuel fires up. That's just the wrong move. Royce, look, thank you for your time. We got to roll on to our next guest. Any other thoughts from you before we let you go?
I'm very satisfied and appreciative of being able to take the facility to the point to be able to have an NHRA national event here, which is the premier event of our sport. And so I don't know how many more years I got at the helm here, but at least I have the satisfaction of a high school graduate with a solid C average, taking a business to this point, and hosting an NHRA national event. So I have no regrets whenever that day is to hang up the radio comes. That I'm very happy with where we were able to be to take the facility to.
Royce, keep up the good work, man.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, guys. Take care.
Royce Miller and team there at MIR are doing some great things. They're already accustomed to many big events, and they're going to have another big event roll through. I briefly looked at the history. Dujane, NASCAR track originally, in that it was NASCAR drag racing sanctioned. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that NASCAR was actually in drag racing. There's actually like top field champions in NASCAR. They're even in the Wall of Champions in the Hall of Fame there in Charlotte. There's a wall to other champions of other NASCAR series, and they do list out even their top field champions. So very interesting. It's got even a NASCAR background way back in the day. Well, we are going to transition here. I think it's very peak what NHRA is doing for 2026. So we'll take a word with Peak, and right after, Mrs. Alexis DeJoria, we'll chat with her.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it Peak. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.
And with us live now, Alexis DeJoria. Alexis, look, I know we're going to talk a lot about 2025, but 2026, the NHRA schedule, such places as Maryland International Raceway, South Georgia Motorsports Park. What do you think about what is in store for you as a professional drag racer in the Mission Food Series?
Well, I'm excited. I haven't raced at either one of those places before. We never like to lose racetracks on the circuit. Obviously, you know, back in the day when I first started in Nitro 14 years ago, no, minus 2 years. This is my 14th year as a pro, but I did take the 2 years hiatus. We had 25 races between February and November. So this is fun. You know, it's exciting. I'm thrilled. Honestly, I love racing at new places, and I think it's going to be good for the sport and really good for our fans.
Yeah, me too. And with Maryland, that's my home. I'm going to have to tell you where the great crab spot is, because it's going to be at that time of year, and blue crabs will be hot.
Ooh, I love blue crabs. I half my life I grew up on the East Coast, so I'm definitely I love seafood. I mean, there's pictures of me in my diapers eating clams with my grandma. I got a stomach of steel. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah, most definitely. We talked to you earlier this season on the Not Bland show, and you know, you guys were making progress, and you have continued to make progress. What are some of the things that you are most proud of about this team, and from where you come from to where you are right now, coming into the playoff season?
So you never know when you're starting with a new team. Like, I've never worked with Mike Neff and Todd Smith before. Their whole team. I've never worked with any of them. I did have the pleasure of bringing one of my day one crew guys, Phil. He's been with me since day one that I started Nitro Funny Car. And the invitation was open. You know, when Dell and I parted ways, I opened it up to the guys. I said, hey, if any of you want to join me, like, most definitely, you're more than welcome. Like, as a driver, we don't like change. We like things to stay consistent. We like knowing, we like those familiar faces, and having the same team and the same routine all the time. It's ideal. So Phil was like, I'm with you, girl. He's like, I'm not leaving you. I was like, right on, Phil. So I got that familiar face, and it's really been an incredible journey working with these JCM and Mike Neff and Todd Smith and their whole team. I mean, my God, we hit the ground running. We came in pretty fast. We were only able to get one car together, one chassis, one car, one body coming into the first race of the season. And so we're like, all right, we didn't have any time to test. Our testing happened right before the race. They opened up some testing days. So we got to make a couple runs, but I mean, that's like it. And we exceeded our expectations by a mile. So, I mean, that's one hell of a team bonding moment. If there ever is one, is like your first race together. Like, hey, you kind of have one of the best cars out there. You could have won the freaking race. I mean, that was huge. So, yeah, I'm very grateful to be here.
You talk about, thrash, it all coming together. I got to see a bit of it because I work at McKinney Corp, and I remember when your body rolled in, and it's like they won it back when.
Yeah,
it was
like
fascinating.
Yesterday?
Yeah, like yesterday. Yes,
Yeah.
Everything was yesterday.
Yeah,
and it was. I think Neff was like coming by and calling Murph like every day, like
sure.
how far are we along? Where are we at? And it
Yeah.
was crazy to see that process come along and how quickly they got it done to get a body out. And then y'all had to do some work at the track after an incident, I think during eliminations or qualifying, one pop.
Oh yeah,
So,
a couple
yeah,
times
there's
actually.
some work.
Yeah, our burst panel on the front, right in front of the injector, that burst panel popped a couple times. And like I said, we didn't have a backup body. We didn't have a backup burst panel. They had to fix that one. And just by chance, we got another burst panel like overnighted to us. But I mean, all hands on deck. My dad was helping me pack parachutes. He was helping fill the fuel tank. I mean, everybody was on deck. It was really cool. Such an incredible race to really show, what this team's potential is. And my God, if that's anything, right off the bat, I mean, just what the opportunity right now is really grand. I'm so happy with this team. We are really, really connected. Everybody's focused. Everyone has a positive attitude, and I want to bring that. That was like my number one thing, is like bringing that PMA, that positive mental attitude to this team, and know that like I am doing everything I can to be the best. And if I make a mistake, I'll own it right off the bat. And if something happens to the car, it's just taking accountability and working through it and learning and moving on.
You guys been to the semis like 5 times this year.
Yes.
And you went to the semis in Indy.
Yes.
I said it when you won against Matt Hagan. I was like, she gonna cuss.
I was like, man, I mean, it's not every day you can say that you cut a light on Hagan. I've had good ones, I've had bad ones, but that was a big one. And I've been racing for, like I said, as a pro 14 years. And I've raced against a lot of the greats. I've raced against Force. I've raced against Dell back in the day, when he went from my crew chief to my teammate, and then he ended up winning the championship in the DHL funny car, which was cool to see. But that pushes you when you're lining up against the best. That pushes you to be your best.
The 2026 landscape, we talked about NHRA. We also now have the IHRA out there, and you're one of those that I think you probably, unlike some other drivers, can probably pull some strings and be like, hey, I want to go test. I want to go race here. Is that the case? Is IHRA on the, portfolio possibly for Alexis DeJoria and team?
Right now, I don't see that being a deal. Like I said, we're, under the JCM ownership, and we're just trying to chip away at it. We're trying to get consistency. We're not looking to step out of our goal and our focus, and that's just having that consistency, getting more rounds, getting more points, and hopefully winning our first race, by the end of the season. That would be fantastic. But there's a lot left on the table.
Yeah, I think this team has showed that, you got, you got Indy, you got pretty much a lot this season where you guys have just showcased what the car is capable of doing, especially with the conditions that have been thrown at everybody's way. But I mean, for the variance in conditions from qualifying on Friday to Sunday for a team like yours, that's a lot.
Yes.
You're trying to figure out your car and you're trying to get that consistency going, but you got all these conditions and you got a book, but you don't have a book for that car. And that makes a difference, So I
really
think,
does.
I think that's admirable of where you guys are at this point in the season. I think it's admirable and quite remarkable, really, given the circumstances that have been dealt to you guys from the start of the season.
Yeah. I mean, my God, like Neff and them, we had like 2 months to put a car together. I mean, there was so much back and forth of like, I was living in limbo, which was like the worst thing ever, not knowing if like I'm going to continue with Dell, or if I'm going to be, if any other teams would take me on, if I was going to be racing at all. I mean, I had to accept, that possibility as well. And that was a hard pill to swallow. Going like, what, if no other teams can take on another driver, another car, I have to accept the fact that maybe I have to sit this one out. And that was tough. Yeah. When it's your choice to do it, like when I took that 2-year hiatus to be home with my daughter and my kids, my daughter was turning 16, and that was such a pivotal moment in her life. And I wanted to be there for her. I mean, she grew up at the racetrack, but like that point in her life was so important. And I left a championship team to do that. And that was a tough deal, but again, like as parents, like you can't parent by proxy. And, she didn't appreciate it at the time, but I told her, I said, when you get older, you'll understand why I did this. And, but it was, I mean, just everything that we've overcome. It was incredible. And, when I got the word that like, hey, you know what, Joe Maynard, this might be a deal, and getting to work with Mike Neff and Todd Smith, and that full crew. I mean, those guys are amazing, and we hit the ground running. I mean, to do all that, to put all that work in with 2 months notice, and be able to get to the semifinals and run good numbers. And yeah, like we had issues with the car, but I mean, everybody stepped up and played their part, and we managed. And that's a hell of a bonding moment for a brand new team.
Indeed.
Really.
Hey, Lee, there's a winning Ironman crew chief in the comments.
Yes, Ryan Elliott.
Oh,
hello, Ryan. He said
oh my God.
He was upset at me. He's like, you don't call, you don't text, you don't, But hello, Ryan. We'll put your comment on the show. And congratulations, yes, to you, Sean Reed, Rob Winland, the whole entire team.
Yes, I heard
picking
about
up
that.
an Ironman. That was a cool win.
Yeah.
They picked on. It was wrong. Rob was wrong. Rob Winland was wrong for this. He's like, everybody, put up your index finger.
Oh,
and poor old Reed's like,
Jesus. I know, Rob.
That's so wrong. It was funny though. It was funny.
Well, I mean, if Sean can laugh about it, then he's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of doing well, going into this countdown, 8th in points, 92 points back, and you talk about bonding and overcoming. What does that bonding and overcoming look like for you and your team in this countdown to wrap up 2025?
So I mean, we've come together as a new team incredibly well. I mean, I couldn't hope for more. Um, but coming into the last 2 months of the season, honestly, like, blinders on. We just want to get more runs down the racetrack, more information, more consistency, chipping away at those numbers, getting quicker and quicker, and finding, spots on the track where we can make up for it. That's really key, because again, together we're a new team. Us as individuals, we've all been out there for quite a while, but together we're new. And that being said, the success that we've had so far in that position has been really incredible. So just hoping to win a race, to win one of these races, to get a Wally before the season ends, and hopefully finish, really well in the points and build for next season.
Yeah, that's a real possibility. I mean, you're an 8th, but look, I mean, the cars in front of you, they're pretty much in the same boat.
Except for
right
the top three. I mean,
except for the top three, there's a good chance to jump from 8th to 5th real quick.
Yeah, the numbers are pretty tight there.
Yeah,
for sure. So I was really grateful that we were able to solidify our position in the countdown to the championship, and we moved up in spots. And I mean, the numbers were so tight. Oh my God, it was like, five this way, 5 that way, and we just managed to qualify well and make up those points. So I'm really excited. I kind of feel like I got a chance to press the restart button, and working with this team and working with Mike Neff and Todd Smith has been really incredible. We work well together. They have a great line of communication with me, and that helps me as a driver be the best driver that I can when you have that communication with your team and your crew chiefs.
You always have neat brands associated with you, and I'm going to connect it this way. So Rusty Snyder here, he has you signing a bottle of tequila, and that's the guy that would have punched out and bent up your firewall and items there at McKinney Corp. You have people that, they like what he's doing. He can go out and buy a bottle, bring it to the track, you can sign it, and you just always have had cool looks and cool brands, and you've continued it with Bandero Cafe, is I assume how it's being enunciated.
Yes.
So what is that in the whole Bandero lineup?
So the Bandero Cafe is a coffee tequila. So it's the Bandero Blanco tequila mixed with like pure coffee, like very, very pure coffee derivative. And it's the combination of the two. Like, it's very, very smooth. Bandero alone is a very smooth Blanco tequila. It's a small batch premium tequila. And so distribution has gotten a lot better. But in the beginning, I mean, you could never find it outside of California. But now we're stretching out pretty good. The Bandero Cafe tequila is incredible. Pour a little bit in your coffee. Not on the weekends when you're racing, but you put a little bit in your coffee and a little bit of milk, and you can make like a, what is like an espresso martini, and use it that way, or just a little bit over ice. It's very good. Very good.
I want to drink.
Sounds excellent.
Y'all have to come try it sometime.
Most definitely. How many states are you there distributed in right now?
So the numbers keep growing. Honestly, I don't have that number right now, but
okay.
Yeah, my niece has been working at Bandero offices, and she's kind of in control of progressing all of that. And we've had some tasting booths set up at various racetracks. Pomona, of course, because it's California. We had them in Sonoma and Chicago this year too. So that's been really fun. Or I'll go there and I'll set up like a autograph session, and then people get to taste, the little shot glasses of the Bandera Blanco or the Bandera Cafe, and it's people love it. They really do.
Well, we'll have to look it up and get some for my wife. She likes the peanut butter tequila that's out there, and and she loves coffee, so maybe the coffee tequila would be her thing too. So,
oh yeah, I can mix them up.
We'll have to look it up. All right, Alexis, look, we have to continue rolling on in the show, but anything else as you look forward into this countdown championship chase?
Yeah, watch out for this team. We have not reached our full potential. There's a lot left on the table, and we're going to be a big contender. I have a lot of faith in this team, and unfinished business, as we all know. More races to win, and the future looks very bright.
I love it. Let's go.
All right, Alexis, always good to have you on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Alexis and team, they do got it going on. It was man, I can tell you, watching behind the scenes at McKinney Corp, it's like I don't know if they're going to make that first race because it was interesting, like the work on that body being done, because the particular body that rolled into McKinney Corp had never been processed at McKinney Corp. So all of the tin work had to be put on file, and you've literally got Todd, the engineer, with a pointing mechanism doing, charting it out on a computer and everything. It was like 370 hours of work, the first body, and then 100 hours was shaved off the second body because everything was already in and ready to go and things of that nature. But 370 something man hours went into that body.
Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
That is insane.
I don't recommend getting into building funny cars. I've seen it, and I think I'll stick with doing Murph's social media and filming Colton the Body Man instead of helping him.
Yeah.
I think I'll keep doing that.
I'll pass too.
Yes. And speaking of being competitive out there, well, you need to get your competitive products from Competition Products. So a word for them, and then another flopper driver in Joe Morrison here on the show.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Joe Morrison, welcome back to the show. Certainly no stranger, and you haven't been a stranger to drag racing. You've been getting a lot of it in, I think, this past weekend at Virginia Motorsports Park as well, in a longer car.
Yes, sir. Driving Tom Pickett's Top Alcohol Dragster this past weekend and for several events this year. Of course, driving my buddy Dennis Champney's Crazy Horse 1969 Mustang Mach 1 nostalgia car at the Funny Car Chaos events. And I had my altered out once at Island Dragway and then, of course, the Paul Smith car in Norwalk, and can't wait to get back in Paul's car this weekend at Maple Grove.
Yeah, you've been a busy man. Busy man. Coming into Reading, guys are coming back out again. What have you guys learned from at least the times you guys have been out with that car coming into Reading?
So both cars, right? A learning experience with Paul's car in Norwalk. We had a one or two challenges that made it real interesting that weekend. It's uncharacteristic for us not to qualify, and we did not in Norwalk. But even though there are 19 funny cars in Maple Grove, I like our chances. And with Tom Pickett's car, with the Top Alcohol car, early on, because I had never driven a top alcohol dragster before. And anytime you get into a new car, I don't care how good a driver you are. I mean, there's a learning curve, right? I mean, you need to be able to acclimate yourself not only to that particular car. I mean, dragster to dragster to dragster, funny car to funny car, they act a little differently. But also, learning to really keep that, get that starting line, launch RPM correct, be consistent with the burnout RPM, right on the money. There's no, throttle stop on that thing. It's all driver. And I like it that way. So, but again, there was a learning curve early. So once we got that out of the way, I'm feeling great in the car. And now they're able to really work on the tune-up now, now that I'm really a consistent driver for them. So, brand new set of tires down there at Virginia. And so, it definitely made a change in our tuning setup but we've got some good data. The boys, both teams are already at Maple Grove. I was on the phone with both team owners today. And Tom's there and with Glenn Moore, his partner there, and the rig's all set up and servicing the car. And Paul Smith is there at the track too. So, I'll be there tomorrow night and got a bunch of work to do between both teams and getting Right to Breathe set up. That's the whole other thing. There's an article out on Drag Illustrated talking about me doing double duty, but really kind of doing triple duty because I've got the Right to Breathe booth in the Midway too. So it's going to be, hey man, for an ADD guy like me, it's perfect. I'll be busy all the time.
Going to be busy, certainly. And you mentioned Right to Breathe. Also, it's a home race for you. It's a home race for supporters of you in Pengrade. So there is a lot going on at Maple Grove for Joe Morrison this weekend.
Yeah, really excited. Not only Pengrade, but I have a new partner on board, a different kind of company that you don't normally see in drag racing. But Lyons and Associates is a law firm in New Jersey. They were voted one of the best places to work in New Jersey. They also were just voted to Inc. magazine, one of the 5,000 fastest growing companies in the country. And I am fortunate to know their founder and lead attorney, Terry Lyons, and she's an absolute powerhouse. And to have Lyons and Associates on board and be the official law firm of Nitro Joe is a real proud moment for me, honestly. Terry's been a bit of a business mentor to me as well as being just an absolutely fantastic attorney, but a really sharp entrepreneur. So to have them on board this weekend is awesome. We're going to have a bunch of guests in hospitality and folks that what I'm really excited about. And both of you guys know this, but for the sake of everyone, I love bringing people to the racetrack that have never been there before. And we're going to have a dozen and a half, 2 dozen people that have never been to a drag race before. And they're going to be front and center for a warm up in Nitro Funny Car. And, Paul may look out at that crowd and there might be a throttle whack or two. You never know. It's up to the boss man, but a throttle whack might happen. So, somebody's going to wet their pants in a warm-up. I don't know who, but
that sounds fantastic. And throttle wax, I'm okay with that. Love throttle wax. That's got to come back, in my opinion. But we talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
What's your favorite moment at Maple Grove?
Oh, that's tough. I've got a lot of great memories there. Being close to home. Between obviously Englishtown is no more. Everybody knows that. I don't want to beat that dead horse, but that was my home track, and Island Dragway, really my home track. And I've made more runs there, but Maple Grove, like my first and second ever wins in my altered happened in a back-to-back race, an event, a nostalgia race. They call the Geezers at the Grove. I love that. So that was, 2010, I think. Back-to-back wins in my altered there. and being in the winner's circle with my dad and a former pro stock racer and one of my heroes, who was, helped me, taught me a lot, Tony File, who used to be the president of the Northeast Timing Organization, or NITO, the nostalgia club that I raced with for years and won a championship with there. So that's among the top there. Certainly, running with the Leverage team at Maple Grove, I have good memories there. And of course, running with Paul Smith there, even better memories. So, we came real close to a round win last year, and that was my second ever race in a Nitro Funny Car, and unfortunately let the car get ahead of me a little bit and stuck with it a little too long, and wound up taking out the finish line cone there. That was hey, welcome to funny car racing, right? But a lot of, I don't know, man. Tough to pick a favorite memory there, but I would say my first and second wins in the same weekend, and then being in a picture with my dad and Tony File and holding the broom for sweeping the weekend. I think that was kind of cool.
Joe, a lot is going on in the world of drag racing, and I think 2026 is going to be one of the wildest years in drag racing that it has seen in a long time. So Paul Smith Racing, Joe Morrison, that seems like a great IHRA possible running team. And I know you all were on the entry list for the original one, but then couldn't make it. Yep. So is IHRA still on the plans for Joe and Paul and everyone involved?
We don't have anything definitive yet, Paul and I, with that. But that is one of the things that when he and I are face to face this weekend, we've had discussions about it. And we both agree that we want to do it. So I say that it is very likely that is in the plans. Listen, I think with a Paul Smith car, I got a very real chance of winning one of them things. I'm very, very, very thankful that I've had a very busy year, and I've raced a lot this year. I feel like coming into Maple Grove, I'm in a very good place as a driver because of the seat time this year. And going into next year, looking to do more of the same and looking to spend as many weekends as I can behind the wheel of whatever I can be behind the wheel of. I think I would like our chances showing up to a race, and Paul Smith is legendary for a reason, and Bodie being there. I mean, I don't know what we got to talk about it. I mean, I can't say what I don't know, and you guys know I ain't one to to try to put the cart ahead of the horse here, but I can tell you this: I want to do it. So yeah, I think, it's funny having Royce and Alexis on here beforehand, but Royce in particular, I've run at MIR, and I'm also very excited about an NHRA national event at MIR. I'm almost giddy about it. I ran there with Funny Car Chaos. I've run my brother from another Rocky Perone's cars there. I've actually, it's funny, I keep it in my camper. I've got the Reaction Time Award from the Bunny Burkett tribute race there a couple of years ago with the best reaction time of the night. So I'm excited about that one too, man. I'd love to go down to South Georgia Motorsports Park, and Paul and I haven't talked about that yet, but it's the most challenging thing for me is we just got to have the right partners to do it. We have the right partners to do it. The funding's there. Sky's the limit at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you feel a little bit right now though? It's like, man, I need to be entering in Top Fuel, not Funny Car, this year around, like in the wave of up and down of the fuel classes. Because it seems like, everybody right now, and people are so nearsighted in their memory, they are like, oh, Top Fuel is about to be dead and Funny Car is alive. And it's like, well, 2-3 years ago, it was complete opposite. So, it's like, man, can I not just hit this right or what?
It is kind of funny. I love driving both cars. I love Top Fuel cars. I love Nitro Funny cars. If you said, hey, Joe, what would you rather drive? Yeah, I'd rather drive a Nitro Funny car. I'm not going to lie about it. But if somebody said, hey, man, we got a Top Fuel ride for you, my license is current, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. Like, let's go. Yeah, it's kind of funny, right? The opportunity came up at the end of 2022 to transition to Funny Car, and in 2023 a license, 2024 came out. And it's funny because after that, and I'm not saying I set the trend, I didn't. I just happened to do it when I happened to do it, right? So please don't misunderstand this. But Buddy Hull switched over. He loves funny cars too. Hell, he's got a show called Talking Funny Cars, and I'm excited to be a part of that too. Will Smith got his license in Paul Smith's Funny Car. Now, Will's still driving the dragster, but there are some guys that have changed over, and other guys have talked about it, guys and gals. I don't mean that gender specific, but yeah, it's a lot of funny cars right now. 19 funny cars entered from Maple Grove. It's going to be a dogfight just to get in the show. Cool, bring it on. The chips will fall where they may. The best 16 cars will be in the field. I hope to be a part of it. But yeah, sometimes I look and go like, gee whiz, right? Wouldn't it be nice if there were only 16 funny cars or 16 or 17 at Maple Grove? Sure, it would take a little pressure off. I mean, it's the hometown crowd. I have a ton of people coming. And of course I want to do well, but it's funny. I can tell you this. Anytime, this goes back to the days with the Altered, when Mike Gillespie still owned the car before Mike passed away. My former team owner with that car passed away of cancer, as many people know. I tried so hard to win a race for him. I mean, man, I tell you, gentlemen, I gave everything I had to try to win a race for Mike before he got too sick for us to be racing together. And the harder I tried to force it, the more it seemed far away. So what I've learned, and look, I was really forcing it at Norwalk this year too, Friday night, and it led to a bad decision behind the wheel on my part. No harm, no foul, but I can tell you this, as a driver, the place I'm at now is I'm confident, in my abilities. I still have a lot to learn. Don't get me wrong. I'm still really, really trying to hone my craft in a Nitro Funny Car. And I need more seat time in it. And that's all there is to it. But I know I'm going into this weekend feeling good and not trying to force anything. And I know that is the best path for me to be the best driver I can be. And, so to close that thought about, gee, wouldn't it be nice to be back in a Top Fuel car because you're not trying to out-qualify, 3 or 4 other cars. Sure, but, you don't race that way, right? Like, a real racer, like Paul Smith is a real racer. We're not showing up and being like, oh no, there's too many cars. We're showing up going, we're here to race. And that's, and we're going to run our race. I don't care who's in the other lane. I don't care where we end up. I don't care none of that. We're going to do our job. We're going to race the track. And I've said it, in other situations, drag racing, it's kind of a selfish endeavor. When you're really, really, really focused on it. It's about our team. It's about what we're doing. When I'm in the car, it's about what I'm doing. I don't care what the other lane is. I don't care who's there. I don't care what they're doing. It's really about listening to the car and trying to be the best driver you can be.
Well, Joe, we certainly will keep an eye on you. We hope that Maple Grove is a successful weekend for you. And before we do let you go, again, Right to Breathe, such an important initiative. Give us the rundown once again, how people can learn more about it and how it can impact them at the racetrack and away.
So I'm really excited. We've got a great team of volunteers there. We've got people from Temple Health, the Temple Lung Center. We've got folks from the Allergy and Asthma Network there. We have a few people that'll be there from Sanofi Pharmaceutical talking about how people can have access to medication. Real important. A great company that is focused on patients and making sure that people have what they need. Really going to be a spectacular weekend. A lot of great resources for folks that are already maybe dealing with breathing challenges. So I encourage them to come by, ask questions, and see what's there for you. Right to Breathe, of course, not only do we do what we call put your lungs on the dyno, which if you're having a little bit of shortness of breath, come by. It's free, absolutely free. And we've got some of the best folks in the country to provide a quick breathing test to see if there's something going on. And with lung disease and with lung breathing problems, the sooner you find out, the better you can live better and live longer. It's one of those things that, people say they don't want to find out, but the sooner you find out, the better off you are. And so, Right to Breathe is there to provide resources, free lung testing. And it's in our mission statement. We believe people can overcome great obstacles when they allow their passions in life to inspire them. My passion is drag racing and helping people with breathing conditions live their best life, right? That's what I'm all about. And we want to help everybody else live that same way, live life at full throttle, right? Be able to do the things you love to do. And that's why we're there. So come see Right to Breathe in the Midway. Asthma, COPD, pulmonary fibrosis, whatever kind of breathing challenges you're having, we've got folks that are there and ready to help you. So it's a great way. I can honor my dad. He's been gone 9 years now. And to be able to keep his memory alive and give back to the racing community that I feel like has given me so much. It's an honor and a privilege to do it. And I'm really excited about it. And I hope a lot of folks come by.
Joe, man, look, thank you for your time. We're pulling for you, and we'll let you go, and we'll switch and transition in the show and say this. We hope that you're a bracket buster. Take care, Joe.
Love to be. See you guys later. Thanks again.
This word from Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, and you never know. You might pick to Joe because he might just bust a bracket.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Certainly, be ready to play. Maple Grove, their Reading, Pennsylvania, seems to play into spectacular performances and also upsets. I know this weekend the New Englander will not be there, but that team had John Force's number racing at least for a while, and they were able to pick off John Force Racing team members in round one, though you wouldn't pick them to do so typically in your bracket. So with the conditions they're going to have, they look really good. I don't know if we'll have quite national event reestablishing or track record reestablishing numbers, but that track certainly can hold it. I know I was there many years ago now, it seems, and was able to stand right behind Brittany Force at the time, going out there and reestablishing some national records, and it was very impressive. And Grubnick and her have been on that right now, so we might very well, by the time it comes into Friday night or even round one of elimination, see some performances that are spectacular, and not just in the classes of nitromethane, but the last things on the track Friday night right now look like to be the alcohol classes. So look out. Alcohol might very well have some fresh numbers put down in the record book after this weekend.
Yeah, most definitely. So I'm looking at the weather here. Looks like Friday, a high of 81, 56 for the low on Friday. So temperatures, the bottom's going to fall out pretty quick. Saturday, 83, low 60, and Sunday, 84, 58 is the low. Mostly cloudy, mostly sunny on Friday, partly cloudy both Saturday and Sunday. So it should be pretty interesting to see if they can put down some numbers out there.
Yes, that track, for whatever reason, tends to be able to hold such performances. Some say it's in the trees surrounding the track. Whatever, make sure you perform as a fan and or attendee and get your butt up on Sunday morning if you're going to get to the track on time. Get there and take a nap in the parking lot or something, okay? Do not think you can bust up in that place an hour before E1. It's not happening. You will be watching Top Fuel sell off coming down the road, okay?
Yep.
Just, you need to get there early.
Early is better.
Way better. Way better. It's going to be a great national event. It always is there at Maple Grove. It is such a neat location, and in its own right, a throwback facility, because you're not getting off an exit and boom, you're right at the track like at a Las Vegas or a ZMAX. It is hidden. It is nestled. And there are so many different ways to get to that facility. You never know which way GPS is going to take you. So make sure you get there early. One of the great stops, honestly, on the NHRA Mission Foods Tour. And be sure, check out Maple Grove for more than the NHRA National event. They have great events throughout the year, even though this might be very well the marquee one on their schedule. So if you've never been, it is worth it to take a trip to Reading, Pennsylvania, and Maple Grove and experience it.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like I said, it's probably one of my favorite. That's one I remember the most as a child. First being able to go to an NHRA event. Outside of that, Englishtown, but Reading was my favorite for sure.
Reading special to me. It's the first time that I was able to help a team with social media. I was able to volunteer with the New Englander team, and Paul Weiss, and at the time Mike Smith was driving, was able to help out and get the experience, and it really helped further me along down the road to connecting with Chip Lofton and others and so on, to right here talking on a Tuesday night with Mr. Bland and Alexis DeJoria, Royce Miller, Joe Morrison, and each and every one of you in the comments section about drag racing. So, yeah, that trip to Pennsylvania was worth it.
Yeah, man, definitely. AJ, love you too, Oos. Yes, sir.
AJ, good to see you this past weekend, and appreciate it. Speaking of this past weekend, I know we've done a lot of NHRA drag racing talk, but the IHRA was in competition there outside of Columbus, east of Columbus, and I think it's Hebron or Hebron, whichever, Hebron, Ohio.
Hebron.
And at the what is formerly National Trail Raceway, it's Durana Raceway now. And Duchesne, it was a good event. I'm curious, what were you able to catch, if anything, with the great live stream that NHRA is putting on these days?
I caught all of that IHRA stuff. I actually I had college football on a smaller screen. I had IHRA on. I was even watching it at the high school football game. I had it on my phone the whole entire time. It was actually more entertaining than the game because it was a blowout. So it was a great event. Again, I think Speed Sport 1 does an excellent job of, the broadcast. And, man, it was so cool to see Sean Reed get back in the car, And it was cool to see Larry Dixon there as well. Kind of did something he did years back and crossing the road and going into the sand. But
yes,
for Sean Reed to get a win after all that team's been through, because of the safety of these cars, man, that made a difference in this man being here today, for sure. So for him to go through all of that, all of the hard work he put in to be able to get back to get an opportunity to drive that car again right before the countdown is amazing. And the fact that they got a win, I mean, that team has been working extremely hard. They've got some of the best people in the business, and not because Ryan's my guy, but from Cruz to here, this cat is one of the smartest dudes out there, along with Rob. And he doesn't think so, but he's going to be a crew chief one day. And he put in some work this weekend to get that done and to get that Ironman. I had texted him right when they decided they were going to run the final round again. And I was like, dude, get that. I like Larry Dixon. That's my guy, but get that damn Ironman. And they did.
They did. And, you bring up Larry Dixon, first time in top fuel competition for him.
Yeah.
In a very, very long time. Dave Lazowski was nice enough to give me the stat that it was his first round win in competition in the United States of America since 2015, Fall Vegas over Clay Millican.
That long?
And you think, now look, when I say that, understand, Larry has been no stranger to the match racing scene.
Right.
And he's been no stranger to the two-seater, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm entered a car into competition and I'm driving it. It's not another driver in my car. It is me driving my top fuel car or a top fuel car in the United States of America. It has been a long, long time. Certainly, he's done it in Australia many times ever since, but it's like, wow, this has been going on that long that this legend in top fuel has not been in competition in the United States of America until right now, IHRA 2025.
Yeah, that's wild.
And I think right there, if you put that together, just that, it's like you see what the IHRA is already doing. And what I also liked, guess what? Larry didn't have to cover up his stickers on his hauler.
Yep. He sure didn't.
You realize when he rolls into an NHRA national event, they force him to cover up the Nitro 2 thing, the two-seater, to cover it up. They don't want, what? Yeah, he just rolled it in. It was fine. They ran it earlier that day.
Yep.
And then he puts his car into competition, and like Nikki says here, like riding a bike, Larry just went out there and they tuned the car along with Tony Shortall and some other help, and goes all the way to a final round in a competitive final round.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was competitive. It was so cool to see that happen. Like I said, super happy for Sean Reed and that team. I think that's going to be huge for them going forward, to not only be able to get a win, but it's just how they were able to do it. Ran pretty well from most of, the race. Everybody had an issue in second round, but man, it was cool to see that happen. And, Jasmine they did a pretty good job out there, had some good runs out there as well. So,
we're talking about for IHRA.
Yes.
We're speaking of new record.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Jasmine Salinas holds now both ends of the IHRA record.
Yeah. Insane.
And, though some think it's outdated, I had someone make that comment on my video that, the scrubbing the tire things was outdated, even though it was just a weekend ago. I think I'll handle the interviews. You have them come out and definitely show that they're capable of doing more than scrubbing tires. And
sure.
They put on a show. And after that performance, I was expecting, wow, she might be the one to go on and win this. What a great storyline that would have been. Jasmine Salinas wins her first top fuel race, and it wouldn't have been the NHRA.
Yeah.
But again, here's the great thing about the IHRA existing in this way now. Again, those stories can happen. Those teams can develop. Look, Jasmine was honest in the interview. She's like, hey, we're here. We're testing some things after Indy. Our Indy was good, but we wanted to be better. And they were out there testing. Sean Reed, they were out there. Let's get prepared for Reading. Let's make sure we're ready to do this. I need to be comfortable in the car. And they made sure of it. And he certainly was comfortable enough to go out there and get a win. So it's working.
Yeah. And let's be honest, too, with this. That was $50,000 that Sean Reed just won. Okay.
With what, 3 less runs?
Yes. And let's be honest, that's going to help that team tremendously after what they've been through. You know what I mean? And they don't have a major sponsor. So every little bit helps. And sure. I think with this, and we look ahead to 26, having a championship, type of season for them is going to be huge. And I think that's going to make more people want to come over and run, but it's going to better the field when those guys decide to go over to the NHRA and run a couple events. I think this doesn't do anything but help. It helps Lex June. It helps Scott
new
Palmer.
best mile per hour for him.
Yeah. I mean,
it's already, again, time, data, hitting the track more often, and doing so in a way that, we can creep up on it. And we can come here and figure things out and put on a show and make money while doing it.
Yeah. Yep. And Nicole's right. This is a testing of the waters here for them right now. And it's cool. It's cool to see it. They're getting a chance to work out some kinks and kind of see how things are going. Everybody's getting a chance to kind of get their feet wet and see how the IHRA does things and where they can improve. I'm sure they're getting a lot of feedback from the racers as well. And when they come out next year for their full championship season, they'll be a lot more polished. And it's just going to be so good. I hope guys like TJ Zizzo come over and run. I know that, they have a unique team. They're not interested in traveling, far out for events, but man, that little bit of money and time can help them. And they're already killer when they come out. Having a little bit more money in their pocket would be nice too. They're a team that, has a small budget. That does nothing but help them. So I just think this is so good on so many levels, and who knows who's going to build a top fuel car, a funny car, just to go out here and run the IHRA. So, because at the end of the day, we had some really cool numbers in the 80s, but you don't have to have a 69 or an 83 in funny car to go out there and win a race. So, right, it's going to be cool. I'm really, really excited about 2026. A lot of buzz and a lot of things surrounding it, and I think people are going to be surprised, and I think people will be happy with it. This is going to be fun.
I think of the final in funny car. Dale Worsham looked like he was streaking on to a win, and then, just past 660 feet, almost getting there to the 1,000-foot mark, and it went just about broadside on him. That was a wild move in a Nitro funny car that late in the run. But someone who had never got out of it was Dan Hicks, and he was right there and right on by. Picks up a win, second time in Nitro Funny Car, rematch of the Milan race, and it is Dan Hicks picking up a win. And, if you're in the drag racing industry, you're aware of who Mr. Hicks is with his Heat Seeker Fuel Altered, now this Heat Seeker Fuel Funny Car. He builds these cars. He's someone that people know in the industry. Well, here he can, just like an IHRA of old, he can go there and compete and he can build a program and win and grow and mature that program to become something bigger and stronger. And right now, you're not really doing that in the National Hot Rod Association. You have to show up and have your stuff ready to go.
Yeah, you really have to. Unless there's a short field, it's difficult. And even if there is a short field, the likelihood of you going out first round is very high. So, you know what I mean? It's just the nature of the beast. So, it's going to help people like that. And I hope more people, like Nitro Joe and others come out. And
Chris King.
Yeah, Chris King. This will be great for him. Great for him. Has a solid sponsor, small budget, but, they're going to make a lot more money just on qualifying or just showing up at an IHRA event than they would at an NHRA event. So it helps out a lot. And again, you're not having to do as many runs as you would in NHRA. So it kind of makes sense for those teams. And so I hope that is the case. That would be big for him as a guy who's looking to, have some success over there. And I think with the amount of laps they can get there in the IHRA, it's going to do nothing but help them when they want to run a few NHRA events.
Right. I don't know. You might have a situation where some aren't interested in running it just because of the challenge of 2 qualifying attempts. And that bit some of the competitors this past weekend. In fact, those that won the first event did not qualify.
Yes.
Scott Palmer and Mike McIntyre.
Yes.
Did not make the show.
Totally shocked.
Shocked. Yes. Absolutely shocked by that happening. Just would not have had that on the bingo card at all. And you look at then race day, Doug Foley, Larry Dixon. Doug goes out there, number 1 qualifier, and you look at the performance that Doug had the night earlier, and you're like, man, you got to put the chips on Doug, even though it's Larry. And yet Larry's able to get a round win, then go all the way to the final round. And you have Jasmine do what she does in round 1. You're like, man, that's low ET, and that's top speed of the event thus far. And I think it carried all the way through. And you're like, it's hard to bet against Jasmine, but it comes down to Sean Reed winning and over Larry Dixon. And then you got Dan Hicks. Nothing against Dan Hicks, but you look at that field and like everybody's picking Dale Worsham every time. Good pick. Don't get me wrong. If Drag Racing Bracket Bonanza had IHRA brackets, then you would be picking Dale to win every race.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody, but that's who you're picking. But Dan Hicks stayed in the throttle and came around Dale.
Yeah. It was cool. It was really cool. How about old Tricky Ricky coming over there, getting himself an IHRA win? Dave W. has some cool stuff where he married old footage from IHRA events that I think Tricky Ricky was at, and then there was the one where Larry Dixon crossed the road and went beyond the sand trap. At then National Trail Raceway, and he married those together. But that was pretty cool, man. Tricky Ricky out there. That dude, he's something else, man. That's all I can say. He's something else. No matter what he gets in, he can win. There's no doubt about it.
He is. He knows how to tear up a field, and he is an extreme competitor. And no, he's not retiring. I'm tired. No, it's not happening. No, Ricky Smith's not stopping anytime soon. And why should he? He still is winning, and he tunes people to winning, and he's able to win himself. So no reason to stop. But yeah, getting a win in the IHRA first time since 97, I think, is around the time frame, I think. So it is good that the IHRA is back in the way that it is. And I think in 2026, you're going to see a lot of people looking at that IHRA schedule very hard. And there are those that right now we're saying, we've even mentioned some like, why haven't they been there? I think it's just a scheduling thing.
Yeah.
And I think when we look at 2026, you're going to see even more competing in the IHRA. You know, this past weekend, it worked out that, and there were plenty of cars that went home.
Mm-hmm.
So it is moving forward. And I think, too, what was really encouraging, the first race there at Columbus, though it was a successful race, it was not that well attended. They dealt with weather, and they dealt with a very hot weekend, and it was not that well attended. And it was also new.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at this past weekend. Now, I'm not going to say on this show that it was packed. I'm not going to say on this show that it was slammed. That's not what it was. But there was a good crowd. It was a crowd that was noticeable from the first time.
Yes.
Like I said in my reel, you can tell that there has been growth. And that is a win.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And also, for everyone out there on YouTube that watches a drag racing video and the first thing you comment about a drag racing video is, where are all the people? Are you tuning in to watch the video for drag racing or to see what the stands look like? Curious. I don't understand.
I don't understand either. I don't understand.
If you want to comment about the action on track, I get that. But you want to comment about the stands, and then you clearly cannot ascertain that the vantage point is from the stands, and you can't see in a whole entire side, but one side that wasn't the main side that people were parked on.
Yeah. Some people are just asshats.
I don't understand. I don't understand. And let me say this. I also don't agree with the people who are like, oh, the IHRA is going to go by the NHRA or surpass it or what. Like, no. The drag racing world can have both of these operating successfully. Yeah. It did at one time. And we can have it again.
Yep.
And it will be a good thing for the sport.
If anybody's going to make this a competition, it's the NHRA.
I would agree with that.
They just can't set the egos aside. Can't see the forest for the trees. It's going to be them. I can guarantee you that. Because the reason why I say this is because I know you've heard me say this a lot, but the NHRA is very much so much like the WWE. They are. You can 100% bet that if they see a IHRA schedule, they are going to put a show up against it. Now, because they can't rearrange things, they can't go and take because there's an IHRA show and do what WWE does and says, well, we're just going to create another event on this night and we're going to go up against AEW's pay-per-view. They can't do that. But you can bet that the competition will be from them. That's where it's going to come from. And they're not seeing not see the bigger picture. But like I said, this is going to be very good for the sport because I think through all of this, there will be some things that the IHRA can do. And, they're going to probably push the limits on some things as far as how it's presented and how fans view this particular, series and the fan experience, how the racers are being treated, and those things are going to be talked about, and they will have.
I even got ice.
Right. They'll have.
I didn't need ice, but I even got ice.
Yeah, they'll have no choice but to get better from it. So, look at what the XFL, now UFL, was able to do for the NFL. We don't have these Madden-like cameras in players' faces for no reason. It started in the XFL. The camera that's stretched across the stadium that comes almost to field level at times. That's because of the XFL. Yes. So the electronic measurer now is from the XFL.
Right.
So there is so much that is going to better this sport of drag racing by a long shot. And you're going to see them make some changes from TV to the NHRA TV deal to other things that are amongst drag racing and at the event for fans. So this has nothing to do but being better. It's going to be better for you, the fan. It's probably going to be better for us as media people with the way that the IHRA does and treats their media. So this is great. And the more racing we have, the better. And the most important part of this is these fuel guys can't just go and get up one morning and say, you know what, there's a race at such and such track. I'm going to go there. Nah, they don't have that. So the guys who want to run Top Fuel and Funny Car outside of Chaos, they have no other series to go race for a championship for. Top Fuel guys don't have any other series to go race for. So this is going to be good for the teams that can't run an 18 to 20 race schedule. So let's just sit back and enjoy it. But like I said, the ones that are going to make the competition, it's not going to be the IHRA. It'll be the NHRA.
Yeah, I think the IHRA just wants to carve out a place for other racers to go race and be treated well and possibly give an opportunity to set a standard and say, hey, this is how it can be done. And I think in a lot of ways they are doing that. And again, I have not had, as of yet, a negative response from someone who has raced or attended an IHRA event thus far. And I can say that I don't have a negative response with my interactions with the IHRA. And I've had interactions with them that could have been challenging, but their customer service was where it needed to be. And the NHRA, I have had situations where I was wrong until they proved to themselves that they were wrong. You know, I've gone to the credential trailer and they're like, well, we don't see your credentials. Did you do what you're supposed to do in turning everything in? I'm like, yes. Here's the email. It says you have it. Well, we'll look again, but they're not. Oh, here they are. They were filed wrong. It's like, see?
Yeah.
So who was wrong here? All right. And look, tone is everything in customer service. And right now, the IHRA has a better tone.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. Now, that does not say they are succeeding everywhere, but they get that. You know, I saw earlier today on social media an individual that has a chassis company. They said they sent IHRA an email and they actually got a response back, a detailed, personalized response. And then you can find later on that IHRA is in the comment sections on this post interacting with people on ideas and how to improve. And I think this race was a very important race for them because other than a brief rain delay on Saturday, from what I can recall, there was really nothing to hinder them schedule-wise other than on-track issues due to oil downs and breakage. So now they have seen, okay, our schedule worked out this way, but we weren't able to complete on Saturday, and they can make adjustments as needed. Like, I think even though they're giving Top Alcohol Funny Car and Top Alcohol Dragster and some other classes their due, if you will, and showcasing them first right after opening ceremonies, it's a nice touch. It needs to be fuel. Be fuel, let them go turn around, have everybody else run after that. I think that's what you need to do. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not taking anything away from the people that are there by not having them right after opening ceremonies. I think that switch does need to be made. And the IHRA, honestly, right now, has a great opportunity with professional drag racing to accomplish something that I think the NHRA right now is too big of a machine to switch gears and change. And that is this, Dugenais. I think we have an issue that in drag racing is an attendance issue. but it is not an overall attendance issue. It is an average attendance issue through the event day. There are great examples of this. You can take a photo from an NHRA national event. If it's round 2, you might very well have packed stands, but you take a photo of the finals, completely different matter. I saw another great event this past weekend, the Northern Nationals at US 131 Motorsports Park. They know how to hold an event. They know how to get a crowd into that place, and it had another spectacular crowd for Midwest Drag Racing Series and the Funny Car Nationals that was taking place at US 131 Motorsports Park. If you look at the semifinals, the stands are packed. You look at the finals, whenever they ran them, hardly nobody is there. So that's a tell. You could take one photo and see drag racing's dying. You could take another photo and say drag racing is alive and well. And I think, yes, it's alive and well, but the IHRA has got an opportunity on figuring out how to package fuel racing and a drag racing show in a football time slot. Because right now, we are a football culture, whether you like it or not.
It is true. That is 100% true. That is why baseball made its change to speed the game up. It's just kind of where we're at. You look at the youth of today, and even you could go as far as teenagers, young adults. We're talking about reels and shorts for viewing. You know what I mean? They consume that quite regular. So no one wants to be at a track 8 to 10 hours. People just get tired. And when you talk about the heat that we've had this year, that plays a role. I mean, I even go back to race 1. It's Gainesville, first race of the year. That morning, I looked and I was like, not that many people. You blink and it was like, oh, where did they come from? It was packed. I mean, loaded. But then, like you say, by the end of the day, it starts to thin out. I mean, it's a long day. It really is. And I think it's more prevalent now than it was years ago. But I think you could say it's pretty much a lot of the same years ago, too. There's certain times that, people usually dip out before the finals. They're trying to beat traffic. So, this isn't a new thing. Just now it's more prevalent and it's more obvious because the way we are structured these days, it's a quick hit, man. It's a quick hit. WWE thought it was smart to make SmackDown 3 hours. Well, you know what? They went back to 2 hours. They realized, we can't do that double time. Mm-hmm. It makes a difference. And I think you're right. If they can figure out how to shorten that time frame and to package this thing to make it move a little bit quicker,
yes.
I think they will have hit something. And maybe that means some of your finals in other classes will be run earlier, like on a Friday. And then you have Saturday as your Mountain Motor Pro Stock, your alcohol classes, and your top fuel classes. And maybe you have one of the other, one of your other top sportsmen or top dragster, because you want to keep things moving on the track, keep rubber on the track.
Yep.
Maybe you filter something like that in, but you don't run everything on a Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage to, navigate this and learn and try to condense this thing a little bit better. I think if you can do that, I think you'll find that, people will tend to stay for an entire thing.
Right. Because again, you can pick a photo and be like, oh, where is everybody? Or you can pick a photo and be like, look at the great crowd we had. And it's a tale of a different story, in my opinion. It is, what do we do with average overall attendance?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sick of people though with that nonsense of taking photos to like bury or to be I hate to use the word negative, but I'm going to sound like Joe here, but it's facts. To be negative about something, to put down something. Look, man, we all trying to make it out here. Crap's high, parts are high, fuel is high, and people are still trying to be out here and race. We're probably the only sport that you can still buy a ticket under $100. Like, you know what I mean? Every other sport, you're looking at tickets upwards of 200 or better. And if you're talking about WWE owned by TKO now, you can't find a floor seat for under several thousand. You're the nosebleed and you're still paying 200 plus. So I'm just tired of people taking pictures to fit their narrative. Like, find something else better to do. If you want to be a TMZ reporter, then do that. Go do that somewhere else, though. Don't nobody want to hear that crap and have that crap here. And then crapping on other media who call you out for your bullshit. Yeah, I said it, bullshit. I'm tired of it. And I don't think that we need to give those type of people the time of day. And those of you who think that these folks are doing a good job, you're part of the problem too, because you're probably the same person that's sitting there that won't buy a ticket, that won't go to the damn racetrack and want to sit here and gripe about attendance. Well, help the cause. Get your butt to a racetrack. Then want to cry and be the first one. Well, such and such track is closing. Look, man, I'm tired of that. There's no room for that. There's no room for those people here amongst us as media people. And it's time that those of us in the media, we don't need to stay silent about this stuff no more. Call these jokers out, cycle drag, and then put them on the shelf, because we don't need them here. We don't need them here at all. And we don't need the negative people here either. They can go and follow that joker out the door, stage right, like everybody else. So that's the way I see it, because you know what? You keep doing this and you're going to kill it yourself. You're not helping the cause. Everybody got something negative to say, but don't have one damn solution. Not one. Move on.
It's true. Like, if you're going to point something out, try to give a solution. Like, look, I think right now for the future of drag racing, the solution is if you're going look, the attraction is fuel cars. Let's get for the NHRA, the attraction is fuel cars. Okay. If you want to argue that, you're arguing a moot point, because it just is. Nothing against any other category. I love all different types of drag racing, but fuel is the attraction. Okay. Well, let's work it out where we figure out how to keep people all through the event while still having fuel cars on display. And I think that also means, look, even though we are talking about competition, serious competition, sport, there needs to be a playbook taken out of like Bader's Night Under Fire or Night of Fire at Norwalk, because like people stay there through that show.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to figure out, how do we keep people in the seats, or if they are going back and forth from seats to pits, they definitely come back to see that final.
Yeah, definitely.
And right now in drag racing, I don't think we really have that. People are like, hey, I've got my money's worth. I've seen round one. I've seen round two. Maybe I've stayed for semifinals. I've been out in the pits a little bit. I think I'll just go back home and watch it on TV.
Yeah.
And then the final round photo looks like crap.
Yep. I think too, we gotta be, because you've heard drivers say this, right, about entertainment, being in the entertainment business. Well, I think we need to take that mantra of sports entertainment. We really do. I had Stevie Ray on the show. He was part of that group with his brother Booker T, and he talked about how other sports have taken from wrestling. And I think that's something that, because it is entertainment. Outside of our drivers, those cars are entertaining to watch. We have to keep their entertainment going within the track. somehow. And like you said, Bill Bader does an excellent job of doing that. And there has to be some elements of that you can bring in, because I think that even the midway, it's not what it used to be. And it can't be, because people like me are already up in age and on, the backside of 30. We've got to shift that to, we bring in all these influencers, but are we really listening and paying attention? Or are we just in it for our selfish gain, for them to showcase NHRA drag racing for the short period of time? I think we can learn a lot from those folks who do that, these influencers, on how they go about what they're doing to generate entertainment. And that same type of entertainment has to be in the midway and on the racetrack. And I think if you can do that, there's more of a reason for a family to stay. Could you imagine if you had like some stuff to do for little kids that was interactive, that really caught their attention, to kind of kill the monotony of being there for all that time? I think we got to find a way to make it, like I said, sports entertainment. And if we can do that, especially for families, we're a family-oriented type of sport, I think you'll find that you'll hook people more to stay. It's not just about the cars on the track. If you encompass all of that, it's more money there for you too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that helps in this day and age of parenting and children and teenagers. That's where we're at.
I think the IHRA, again, has a great opportunity. Don't just look at what you're doing as building another drag racing sanctioning body. And when you look at your Outlaw Nitro Series shows, really think about the show. And don't just think about it as a drag racing product. Think of it in some other planes. And look, I like that they've got like the live band, and I like that they brought in the motorcycle entertainers this weekend. That was a big hit with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Kids were loving that. They were getting into it. That was very cool on the return road. But overall package, I think the IHRA's got a great opportunity to do something different in drag racing and package the show down, because, like I said earlier, Dugenais, what is a football game now? 4 or 5 hours?
About 4 hours.
Okay.
About 4 hours, unless it goes into overtime. It's about 4 hours.
Right, unless it goes into overtime. So, and even in that, you've got 4 quarters and you've got a 15, 20-minute intermission.
Mm-hmm.
So we're conditioned for those type of things. So what if the portfolio looks like it's a 4 to 5 hour show, and before the final rounds, that last turnaround, that's the intermission, and you do something, and I don't know exactly what that is. Some good people can come up with this and figure it out, to have people stay, and you got those packed stands and they see the final part of the show actually. And there's some other things that like the NHRA won't do. Like the NHRA won't allow, you go to sports car world, and in the sports car world, they've got a lot of great access into the pits, and you can see the paddock, as they like to call it. And you've got these very interesting setups off the trailers with the awnings and like top deck trailer party areas and entertainment areas and hosting areas. And NHRA won't allow that. We actually had Clay Milliken on the show years ago, and I was like, hey, with some sports car influence and that you're getting in, maybe we could see some of that. And he's like, no, we've already tried and they're not going to do it. Well, the IHRA can do that. And you have some different setups and able to host things differently in the pits. Like, look, park, the classic is what? You park the rigs right next to each other, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they're right on top of each other. Well, maybe you've got the space where they're not parked right next to each other, and set up some portable grandstands, and people can actually sit and watch the turnaround.
Yeah.
And not just be roped off.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay. Just things like the IHRA has a great opportunity to beat the NHRA in some ways, because the NHRA is such a big moving machine that it's not going to be able to redirect right now.
Right. That's like, I mean, you kind of, I don't know, you can kind of look at other stick and ball sports in that vein, as, the NFL is a big machine. And there's just certain things there's certain things in certain areas they're just not going to go. You know what I mean? That's where the alternatives come in. And I think thinking outside the box would be fantastic. Like I said, it's the entertainment part of it. And Matt, with the use of footage and whatever, I'm gonna tell you, NFL is rough, bro. I mean, if I do a show on a team and I'm breaking them down from the past game, and we're doing a recap show talking about things for the fans, right? When I go to I can use all 22 film, but that NFL logo better not be showing or your video gets shut down. If I use TV footage and I have NFL Plus, I take the condensed game and I'll snip plays from it. If the score is showing, if there's anything from NFL showing from the broadcast, they're going to black out your video. Some teams are even petty. They don't even let you use the team press conference after the game that they post on their site that doesn't have anything pertaining to NFL. Some teams won't even let you use that as part of your video so that the fans can hear the press conference. They'll shut your video down. It's wild. It is wild what we have to go through. Some teams aren't like that, but there are a lot of teams, which I don't understand because most of these teams are not successful. You put it on your site, and because we're a credential site, it will get flagged. So it's a tough world. But I do agree with you. I do think opening that up a little bit would definitely help out a lot, especially when it comes down to showcasing the sport from an analyst point of view. You know what I mean? They give us some clips, but usually they're finals and, record runs or number one qualifiers,
Right. I don't know if I want to go down the video rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. The video rabbit hole. See, there's so many different angles to.
Oh yeah.
So for example, you can go to YouTube right now and you can find YouTube channels that are not credentialed media, and they will film Top Fuel Eliminator. They will film Funny Car Eliminator. They will film Pro Stock, the entire eliminations, and post it to their YouTube, but that's not flagged or knocked down.
No.
But yet I can be a credentialed member of the media with a team, and I'm not able to use that footage on my YouTube channel that the team wants to use as a platform for them. But then I can see someone on their own personal YouTube channel, or rather social media elsewhere, does have starting line footage, though they're not to use it, and they cover other teams.
Yeah.
But yet then, as credentialed media, I can go and film Factory X, Top Alcohol, go cover the stuff that doesn't get much exposure. There's nothing wrong with that, and yet I don't touch Top Fuel, but yet you'll let the other YouTuber out there that just sits in the stands and do nothing, you won't flag him or her. It's like...
Yeah. It's all over the place.
It's all over the place. It's all over the place. I also, what really annoys me, it frustrates me so much, these groups that are growing on social media, and they use IHRA footage or they use NHRA footage, and they weren't even at the event.
Yeah.
I just, and it just, I I don't. Yeah, I don't understand.
Me
I
neither.
do not understand. So, if it was like, okay, you can't cover any classes at all, that's fine. Or I would be fine. Let's say, here's an example. All right. If you are a YouTuber, and I'll just stick with that, and you've got that platform and you're going to come in and film eliminations, you cannot film eliminations for Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock Motorcycle Bike, and it be a full elimination recap. I'd be fine with that. Okay. So that's NHRA saying, we want you to cover what doesn't get a ton of coverage. That makes sense. And I would even be fine, like, okay, of those classes, you cannot release it until the production that comes out later as a delayed production. That's fine. Or how about this? How about we work it out where if you film it and then it drops, it has to carry, hey, be sure and check our production on Fox somewhere in it. I'm fine with working those type of things out. But what I don't like, what I don't appreciate is that this person over here, they can have starting line footage on their own personal social media business platform, and yet I can't.
Yeah,
that annoys
that's
me.
the same thing that was hurting Mac's deal with what he was doing, and he had to flip the script. He had to flip the script to make it work, and that is annoying. It really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to figure that whole thing out. Really got to figure that whole thing out.
I think and not just NHRA, but IHRA. And IHRA right now, they haven't been in this long. Their group hasn't been in it that long. But I think the more you're open and allowing, then you're going to help yourself grow.
Mm-hmm.
But also stick to what you say is important. Because I have seen people posting about IHRA. I've never seen them. I've been to 3 out of the 4 pro IHRA events. I haven't seen them.
Right.
I'm the one busting my tail, going to the stands, setting up 2 cameras on the line, and taking a camera in the stands and walking back and forth, and actually doing the groundwork on the ground, interviewing these guys independently, and also working for a team, covering a team. I'm there. Where are you? And yet you're taking footage off the live stream and posting it on your own social media. I think it's theft. You're a thief.
Yeah.
And then you don't even give the IHRA, you don't even use it in a fair use way. You just post it. You don't stand in front of it. Hey, check this action from the IHRA, like at Sports Center or something, and use it properly. No, we don't even see you. We don't even know you. You're just this faceless thief of content posting it out there.
Yeah.
Gosh. Annoys me.
I don't like that. I also don't like people live streaming when they've got to stream. I don't like people.
You're not supposed to do it. It actually says, and you sign the waiver, and until they enforce it, it's happening, but you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. Because you're taking away from their broadcast. Like that's what they're doing. They don't need you to do that.
Right. Look, I would just, whatever the set of rules is, let's stick to it.
Yep.
And I'll say this.
To everybody.
Just a little bit of flexibility, because like what I'm thinking about, what I'm talking about, when I was helping Doug Foley with his social media, Doug Foley does not need a YouTube channel. There's not enough content, okay? They weren't showing up to enough races. There wasn't really enough content. But partner with another brand like a Monday Morning Racer, like a Mighty Mac, like a Comp Plus or whatever, and have your content go that way, and it helps your team have exposure as a smaller team, an independent team, but yet that wasn't allowed. But again, I can go to other businesses within the sport that are under the same set of rules, and yet I can see starting line footage.
Mm-hmm. All the time.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild out here in these streets.
It's wild. It is.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for IHRA. I can't wait for 26. But I think they have one more event this year.
Who, the IHRA?
Yeah.
So right now, scheduled Dragway 42 for the next IHRA Nitro Outlaw Series. There are some rumblings that may just go back to Columbus. They feel that Dragway 42 might not be ready as of yet. We're still waiting on that announcement, but that's the next one scheduled. And then Galat Motorsports Park, they're in Dunn, North Carolina, for the last one. And that will be an 8th mile only event for everybody because it's only an 8th mile facility. Hey, what do you think about this, Dujanay? I had some people mention this. I think it's a good idea for the facilities that they can do it at, but every class in the IHRA, and again, this is something that they can do that right now I don't think the NHRA it's such the machine and the size that it is, it can't do this. But the NHRA's got an opportunity to try it. What if they went to 1,000 foot on every class? So you're not moving blocks. Everything is 1,000 feet from hot rod, quick rod, super rod, all of it, all the way to fuel classes, 1,000 feet. What do you think about that?
I think that is a smart deal because I think the biggest problem was they were having two at some of the races that they left the timing blocks in at 1,000 feet, and the 8th mile guys were taking out the 1,000 foot, 1,000 foot cones out there. So I think that evens and makes everything even across the board. That saves you from having to do a whole bunch of work or moving timing blocks around and doing all that, taking out, putting in. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't think that's a bad idea. And on top of that, think about the parts usage and things that we're saving. As we talk about all the time, nothing really good happens after 300, at the 300 from 1,000 feet, 320 feet to the finish line. So take that away, give me 1,000 foot racing on everything. And I think it'd be just fine. And you'd have some really good side-by-side racing in a lot of those classes.
I think it'd be worth the shot to see if, again, you can everybody shows up and it's always 1,000 feet. Always 1,000 feet. Instead of right now, we're going quarter, we're going 1/8, we're going 1,000. It's one of those things in drag racing that you kind of have to be in the know to understand. I don't know how many times people are like, is this 1,000 foot? Is this 8th mile? Is this a quarter mile? Yeah. And they don't understand that the drag strip is a tape measure, basically. And if you just count the blocks, you can figure out what the distance is. And that's a little bit of like, you kind of have to be inside the sport a bit, it seems like, to understand what's going on, except the people that are always asking if it's quarter mile. They've been around the sport for like 30 years, and yet they don't know what the difference is between quarter mile or not. It's kind of weird.
It is
actually
weird.
Thinking about it.
It is weird.
Count the blocks, people. Count the blocks. Okay.
But I like that idea.
I think it'd be neat. Mm-hmm. I also think the IHRA has got to right now. I know they're figuring things out, but again, in this whole opportunity, just lessen some of the classes. I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that.
I agree. I think that is.
I need to do that. Everything. I need to do count the blocks merch.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be funny. Yeah, I think they do. I don't need to carry every class that NHRA does. I think you can tighten it up a little bit. I understand, Pro Nitrous. Hey, man, figure out a way. You'll have time for next season, but figure out a way that you can have Pro Nitrous, Pro Mod, and Outlaw Pro Mod all run in the same class.
Right. Yeah, I agree with Drag Racing Mayhem. We don't need 3 Pro Mod classes. I agree. I agree. And maybe they can be at some different events or something, but I don't think you need 3 Pro Mod classes. Now, let's roll this in. We had some people bring this up. There's rumors right now that the IHRA may very well purchase the PDRA and something with Virginia Motorsports Park, whether it's bringing them in as a sanctioned track or purchasing. Now, I think if that happened, I think you would not see the PDRA exist any further. Why? And all of that would roll into the IHRA. I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
And if that does happen, then I personally am fine with their remaining like Pro Nitrous, Pro Boost, because that is unique. And to the PDRA. The PDRA, from what I can remember and what I can recall, they were one of the first ones to do that. And I'm fine with that distinction because I will say, man, it seems like nitrous racers are always barking about something with the guys that are blown. And it is ridiculous how much they want to argue. And even though they are right there with them most of the time. So if they're just going to keep complaining, give them their own little class, pro nitrous, and let it be. And I think you can have that pro boost, pro nitrous in the IHRA. I love the idea of the Outlaw Pro Mod. Please do not misunderstand me, but wow, that. Let me put it this way. And I do like with the Outlaw Pro Mod, the Extreme Pro Mod, that idea. Like if these guys do it right, they could be the showstoppers, and not necessarily on ET and mile per hour, but they should have the wildest cars.
Yes.
You know, they should have the Willises. They should have the 33 Chevys. They should have the Cadillacs like Sullivan. They should have the Corvettes like Pez had out there. If that may be really the banner carrier, because, oh my goodness, Indy, I'm watching coverage 2 weekends ago, and Pro Mod rolls up on NHRA.tv, and it's like, oh, look, 2 Camaros. And it's the semifinals. The next pair, oh, look, 2 Camaros. You know what? It was pretty cool with the extreme class. You had a Merc, you had a Corvette, you had, yes, there was a 69 Camaro, but it was like stretched different and looked like something like I remember how they used to look. You know, when I was a kid, there's a lot of opportunity. I think Frankie Taylor had his Corvette out there, the wild one, at some point during the weekend. There's a lot of good opportunity there to really hang your hat. I don't know, man. 3 Pro Mod classes is tough.
It is. Man. It really is. It is very tough.
But I give IHRA kudos. They kicked 500 Pro Stock to the curb. Smart move.
Yeah. It's just not enough cars, man. And NHRA kind of owns that. So,
right.
Just let them have it. I think Mountain Motor Pro Stock is where it's at anyway. I think that class is very interesting.
I love it. Love it.
I was kind of surprised that John DeFlorian wasn't there this past weekend, but he may have had other things going on. But yeah, I love that class. I love watching that class, even when they're at NHRA events. But I think that's your bread and butter. That was your class before. That should be your pro stock class now.
Yes,
and that'll be good. But
with all the rumblings of IHRA, one of the classes out there, maybe out of all of them, the one that was singing, "Mama, I'm coming home." Yeah, it was Mountain Motor Pro Stock. Yes. They were excited about it. And hey, there they are. And it just feels right.
Yeah, it
just feels right.
It does.
I will say this. All you Mountain Motor peeps, figure it out where you're going to race.
Yeah.
Because for years now, it's been like, we want to be at the show. We want to be in front of fans. We want full stands, this and that, blah, 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 blah. We want to run quarter mile. We want to run an eighth mile. Figure out where you're going to run and stop splitting it.
Yep.
Band together, actually, and figure out where you're going to run.
I think the moneymaker is with the IHRA.
I think so, too.
I think it would be that would be it. And they would really be a show. I mean, they're right there with the Pro Mod, crowd. I mean, they are really fun cars to watch and very, very close racing. So that's where I think they should be. But some of the sportsman classes we can kind of dwindle a little bit. Just let the NHRA have some of those. I actually, you know what? I do not mind the outlaw snowmobiles. Actually,
where's Darren when we need him?
I do not mind. Yeah, exactly. I do not mind them. I do not mind them. Those things would be, boy, they're chattering the belt.
Yes, they're impressive machines.
I mean, they're black tracking the belt.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. And look, we're saying all this, and I will say next year there's 10 races slated. We don't know what those 10 races are going to look like. And every race may not have everything that we have seen thus far. And again, we've seen the IHRA willing to make moves. They were honest. Hey, Milan, the next race we don't see enough 500 pro stockers. We're not running you. Forget it. And they didn't. They're not on the list. That was a right move.
Yeah, it was. I love their fluidity, and they just need to evaluate through these next few races of what's there and what's working and where they can slice some people off, and because they actually have a place to race with the NHRA, and that way you can tighten up your show a little bit. So
yes,
I think there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot that they can do, and kind of reinvent things a little bit. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where all of this goes.
I am excited. They're willing to take fuel and pro shows to 8th Mile facilities. That is a good move. There are some great 8th Mile facilities, such as Galat Motorsports Park, that you can take these shows to. I appreciate their willingness to, again, they dropped 500 cubic inch. They're like, yep, we're not going to fool with it. We're going to stick to what is ours. We're going to bring home Mountain Motor Pro stock. We're going to elevate them. Thank you. I do think IHRA, you have an opportunity, especially after this year, making it known you're back, you're real, checks are being cashed. And it is not just rainbow stew, it's real. You've got an opportunity to revolutionize drag racing. Do not think about having drag racing the way drag racing has always been done. You have got the treatment down. I give it to you already. You've got the racer treatment and appreciation down. You've got the media appreciation and treatment and flexibility down. Work on the show.
Yep.
And actually revolutionize it. And I firmly believe if you can work it out where you package that fuel show into a 5-hour window, that is a winning ticket.
Yeah. I think that's it. That's the way to go. And it would help out tremendously. It would help out tremendously. You think you'd have more people be interested in staying there. It's not one of these 12-hour deals. So, sometimes you run into things that you just can't help, but for the most part, that's the window I would try to stay in.
Yep. Yes. And look, we said all that. Look, no hard feelings against the NHRA. Love what NHRA has been doing. It is something that, you cannot deny. It is the premier show. It is the top. I am so excited about what they've done. We've talked about it. Man, the 2026 schedule is exciting.
Yeah,
and it is good to see. And they are moving forward and making changes. That is good. So I like where the sport is. It's definitely not dead. It might be over-diversified, but it's not dead. It might need to work on the length of shows, but it's not dead. It might have to work on this, that, and a little bit of everything roundabout, but it is not dead.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a real good time. Andrew, I'm not really sure what he would do next season. I know he said in the presser that they were working on trying to have him in something next year. What that something is, I don't know. Maybe he goes back and races in Top Alcohol. Maybe he does that. I don't know. Because I think that's an option there for him that he could very well do. Definitely a little cheaper to run.
Right. And also you might see him, they bring out a second car from time to time and not be a full season type of situation. Look, he has made runs in the funny car. You could see a funny car roll out occasionally. Who knows? So, Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past him. He could do it. He'd need to get on a tight food regimen though.
Now, Tony Stewart to Nitro Harley.
Oh yeah, no, well, that doesn't matter. Weight doesn't matter with a Nitro Harley. So yeah, you can do that. You can do that. But yeah,
that's not to say Tony's. It's not to say Tony's overweight. Tony's in good shape compared to some other times in his life. But in talking with, you have whether that. Yes, there we go. Awesome. Talking with you've talked with Richard Gadsden. Obviously, I have. We've both talked to Gage Herrera and Ryan Ayler. You start diving into the regimens that these guys have during the season. They're not eating a lot to stay where they're at weight wise for these motorcycles.
Yeah, I couldn't. I'm about a little over 225, so that ain't gonna work. I mean, I'm not calling Tony fat. Just you gotta be within a window, and they need a little bit. That bike needs a little bit more to get my weight going. I'm holding the bike back, so it is a science, and I would have to get into a window to ride a pro stock motorcycle. So. I mean, look at Gino. that bike is struggling because they got to find a way to get that thing moving quicker to 60 foot because of his weight.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it is certainly a weight game, and all of it is really how can I transfer weight in the best way possible to get down the track, and that's why. You take, for example, Matt Hagan. Matt Hagan's center of gravity is different than Ron Capps. And you can remember a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, you got Matt talking about, Dickie's able to move around weight in the car differently. He's experimenting with things. Well, he's able to do that because Matt's center of gravity is different.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Compared to other drivers.
Yep.
So, look, weight, and if you don't believe weight transfer is a big issue, Leah Pruitt, and what that car was doing, and put Tony in it, and then they struggle for a bit. And I'm not saying, and again, it's not saying, Tony is overweight. It's Tony's weight is different than Leah's, and it transferred. Vehicle dynamics are different with him in the car, and that's anybody.
Yep. It really is. It's amazing how all that works, even in fuel classes. How that
bunch of voodoo. That's what it is. Magic.
Yeah.
I bet that's how some of them feel. Like we gotta,
right.
Anoint
Figure
this
out
thing
some
right.
Formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. Gasser, IHRA, huh? That wouldn't be a bad thing.
That would not be a bad thing. Maybe I need to send them an email. Maybe we need some Sega exhibition at the IHRA.
That would be fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah, maybe I can send an email. Maybe we could work. Maybe Galat. Right after Shady Side is Galat. Maybe we could do something out there. That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
8th Mile, right up Sega's alley.
Chick Magnet, and all the characters.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You never know.
That would be awesome.
You never know. Look, the IHRA is doing a good job. They've got a great opportunity, and I hope. I know. Right now at the IHRA, you've got people that they're drag racers, but don't let drag racing and how it's been done hedge you in on the opportunity you to have to do it so differently.
Yeah,
give it a shot.
Give it a shot. What you got to lose? I mean, nothing.
Right.
Because you can always go back. So, yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think they have a real big opportunity, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. I hope they take the baton and run.
Absolutely. Anything else? Comment section. Anybody?
I think we're good. What do you see? Top alcohol funny car crash? Yes, dude. Yes. Oh, that could have been a heck of a lot worse than what it was, boy. That could have been a heck of a lot worse than what it was. But I do agree. I did see someone make a comment on that. I think the NHRA needs to own that one. They need to own that one.
Certainly a tough deal for everyone involved. I've been on the starting line before, and you have rain down track, and you can't see it. So one, that can happen. You know, for everyone out there that's commenting, how could you not see it? There's times you can't see it. And also, you got to remember, for these cars to get out of shape in rain, it doesn't have to be a downpour. You just need enough moisture to begin to accumulate on the track, and it not even necessarily be visible to the eye. Because it's a slick. There's nowhere for the water to go, okay?
Drizzle, a light drizzle can throw them off.
Yes. So you had a situation where obviously at the starting line, Annie and Wayne, they're not getting anything on the windshield. And you've got a situation where, you know, some people are like, well, what about the crew chief? Why didn't they do something? Well, the crew chief and the team, they're doing their jobs.
Yeah.
Okay? And you might not have been able to see. You can hear through the live stream, and I imagine the only reason you can hear through the live stream is because someone's not switching off a mic, that there's chatter in the tower, and that chatter does talk about, and it said, rain at third turnoff or something like that. Now, rain at third turnoff at VMP would be the furthest turnoff from what I understand. But again, you got rain. So now, by the time that's said, and even though there was a little bit earlier communication, the cars are in the staging process. So I wonder if this was a case of, well, it's third turn off. They'll be slow enough and parachutes out. We haven't got a report of anything other. Let's get this round in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it bit them.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Because they thought they had time and they would have just been able to get them through, and the rain kept moving, and before they knew it, when they left, it was already raining by the time they got to 60 feet.
Yes. There should be video, unless it has been deleted from NHRA YouTube. It's on NHRA YouTube because it was streamed live from Virginia Motorsports Park in Division 1, putting it on through NHRA YouTube. So unless it's been edited out or it has been deleted in whole, it is out there. You can go watch it.
Yeah. I seen it on, somebody had recorded it.
Right. And if you search around on Facebook, you'll find people who have recorded it from the stream, and it's out there as well. But nasty incident. I'm glad Annie and Wayne are okay.
Yeah.
I know at least Annie, that's a McKinney just absolutely destroyed. I hadn't talked to Murph, but I'm sure that's not even a front half. I'm sure it's, whole new car. Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
And you know what? And, you know, not just to talk about Annie and forget Wayne, but the Whiteleys have done so much for drag racing. And I really, again, this is one of those things for everyone that busted the chops of the IHRA with Marvin's situation. This is busting worthy on the NHRA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's chop it up to one, things happen. But this seems like it was terribly mismanaged.
Yeah.
And it would seem to me that if there is the threat of rain, like if you get that there's rain near the track, you need to slow the program down a little bit. I don't know. I get it. We weren't there yet. You can hear chatter and everybody involved. They're ready to run. Staging's happening. Didn't get down there soon enough for that starter to switch from normal mode of operation to throw the reds.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't expect the starter to see it either. Everybody's like, why did the starter send? I don't expect him. He's watching cars. He might be looking for oil leaks. He might be looking for a fuel leak. Are these people staging? He's focusing on that.
Yeah. It's hard to see when it's not like fully dark and there's no sun. We've had several storms here where you see a black cloud, but it's still sunny outside. And then out of nowhere, there's raindrops. Like, where did that go from? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not like there was any thunder or anything. So if you're down track, and the way that, the sheen off of the racetrack, especially with the compound, it has a glare to it. So if you're that far down and that rain's all the way at the end, it's kind of hard to see if there's just a bit of ray of sun. You really can't. It's just a glare, so you can't really see that far.
Right.
And then if it's moving in that direction, you don't see it until it's too late. Especially if you were already in the process, you don't see it until it's too late, and they're already gone.
Right. Well, I just looked. Unless I am missing it, I'm looking at NHRA YouTube, and it is on the live section. There's Division 1 Sunday, which is not the day we're looking for. We're looking for Saturday. Then there's Division 1 Sunday again, and then it skips to Division 1 Friday. So you're missing Division 1 Saturday.
Why would they pull it, though? Nobody got hurt. Nobody died. Why did they pull it?
Right. Saturday's missing, it looks like. Rut row.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would pull it. That doesn't make sense. It was one incident out of the whole entire day. That doesn't make sense.
Unless they had hit a limit, who's ever managing the YouTube channel, you can trim out sections from a live stream if you didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at that. 3 as of right now. That's tentative. 3 as of right now. Like I said on my show, if there's some things that go through that we're working on right now, it may be a few more, but I've got to work in a Sega schedule. There's other things going on in the summer, so I'm, working in a Sega schedule and other things that I have going on. So we're gonna see how it goes, but definitely 3. Because money talks. Just saying. And I love my crew, so yeah. If it's Sega over NHRA, if it's outside of the MIR and South Georgia, then it's going to be Sega over that. I'm sorry. It's just how it is.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. For those of you that are in the comment section, you're involved in media. And like I know Mac 1320, hey, keep up the good work. Appreciate what you're doing. Mighty Mac, everyone else involved. If you can cover NHRA, cover NHRA. But do not let it consume your coverage. There is far too much drag racing out there to be completely focused on NHRA drag racing. And I highly recommend cover other forms of drag racing, and you'll find your place. You'll find your home.
Quickly. And you'll find that other stuff actually gets more traction, to be honest. And I don't know why that is, but I've found that NHRA stuff versus, I'll use Sega. Yeah, I usually get more traction with the Sega stuff. So I don't know why that is. Just is. But yeah, Mac 1320 is doing some unique stuff. I like it. It's been fun to watch.
Yes. Oh, by the way, don't Darren Williams Jr. You kind of faded him out in one photo. Don't do that. Okay, it got to him. It got to him.
Yeah,
it got to
him. Oh man, that guy. I texted him the other day. He's too busy to even get back to me. He'll get back to me.
Oh, my goodness.
He'll get back to me in about 2.5 weeks.
He will. Hey, he's doing good work there at John Force Racing. And it's good to see. And, look, you put the hard work in, you never know where it might go and where you might land. And you just got to put the work in. But, and you just never know where it might be in the world of drag racing. Don't think drag racing just as NHRA.
Yeah.
Now, is it the top? Is it the premier? Yes, I completely agree. But don't just think that's all drag racing is.
Yeah. There is an indie scene of drag racing.
Very much so. Very much so. Very much so. So I think we've probably made the whole sport mad at this point. So I think it's a good time to end the show. And great to have Alexis on, great to have Joe on, great to have Royce on. Wish we would have had a little bit more time with each and every one of them. When we have 3 guests on, it's pretty tight. We want to respect their time, but good conversations with them. We're looking forward to the NHRA national event this weekend. I think I'll be able to catch some of the action on NHRA.tv and on the national event broadcast, unless I go to a race this weekend. And I don't know, I might go to Bristol. I just realized Bristol's this weekend for NASCAR, and I'm in Tennessee now, so it's not that far up the road. It's still a little bit far up the road. It is Bristol, and I'm in Middle Tennessee, but nonetheless, I might head up there. I don't know.
That sounds like fun too.
I don't know. Got a lot of options.
Do that. Yes, a lot of options. I plan on being parked because next weekend is going to be jam-packed, but a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, we've had fun. Thank you all for joining us, and get to the drag strip. I know Drag Racing Mayhem, he'll be at Maple Grove this weekend. Yep. I know Mighty Mac will be at the track. Get to the track, whatever the track is, your local track. Again, don't just go to national events. Go to your local track and enjoy the events they've got going on as well. Yeah. To each and every one of you, thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Until next time, God bless. Keep the pedal to the metal.
QuarterMileClassifieds.com is a new and easier alternative to online classified advertising. We make it a simple experience with $20 getting your car, hauler, engine, or parts listed for 2 weeks. If you want to make a bigger splash, we have VIP listings that provide even more exposure, including social media. On QuarterMileClassifieds.com, you get up to 10 photos of video and up to 2,000 characters to deliver the message you need to make the sale. QuarterMileClassifieds.com is a trusted classified ad partner of Competition Plus and the Rooftech Comp Eliminator Bonus Fund. Visit QuarterMileClassifieds.com today.